All right, everybody. Good evening. Pup here with my Wednesday evening review. Let's get into the charts. Bear with me 1 second, and let's dig into American Airlines first. So American Airlines came back down to the year-to-date anchored VWAP, retesting it, holding it so far, watching for a bounce here. Apps came right up to that 50% retrace at 75.07, closed right underneath it. This is why using Fibonacci is really important. You get these levels, and it does violate the level here, but look at exactly where it closed. It closed right underneath it. So I think a close over 75.07, we should test 76.58, and then over that level, I'm looking at the 618. This is generally where trades like to terminate, or at least they hit a big roadblock. So decent amount of you got a 6 point move right here. So if you're playing weekly options, maybe going out to next week, starting tomorrow, maybe looking at the 80 calls could work on digital apps if it continues higher. Denny's, we had that fake breakout here, right? Closed right under our 17.15 entry last week, and now we've hit the top of that wedge, and now we're coming back down. So we're closed underneath the year-to-date anchored VWAP. So you know what, Denny's, you are off my interesting daily charts list. Very easy. Next up is FIX. FIX bounced right off the bottom of this massive flag here. Caught our 74.52 entry. Hit our first target yesterday. Now we have an outside day here at 76.74. So closed again right under my target. So watching for a next move up to 78.20 on FIX. Next up is JP Morgan, broadening formation. We had a breakout yesterday. We had no, it's not an inside day here, but we closed pretty strong. Looks like we sold off in the morning and then we closed strong. Look, a nice hammer candle close right there. So JP Morgan, bank's still pretty strong, so liking it. Here's Live Nation, caught again. Remember, as I was explaining yesterday, we wanted this to come back and retest this 94.74 breakout from this previous all-time high breakout back here, but we just didn't get the pullback. We had an inside day, we had an inside day breakout, now an outside day. Very, very bullish. I think with a close over 101, if this doesn't back test 99.29, I think we go straight to 106.17. Next up is MGM. So we're flirting still with this 44.39 level, previous high right here, closing over it. Looks like it's forming a bit of a flag here. So just keeping a closer eye on MGM in the next couple of days. Next up is Netflix. Netflix with another strong move today. Although it is an inside day, it's an inside day at the top of the range and a close over a 1382 extension at 635. Netflix has been really strong. The Squid Game show, whatever that is, I'm not watching it, but everybody's talking about it. Massive, massive ratings, massive watches on Netflix. So yeah, I mean, Netflix is booming here. I'd just be careful to chase it up here. I would only be playing this intraday. I would not be holding overnight. Here's another one, SI. I mean, wow, we really nailed this chart here. Caught our entry at 123. I've been moving up my stop losses every day, and now I'm like, wow, this is just an incredible, incredible move. I think we continue to move higher, but I'm really tempted to start taking profit up here. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4 straight days of a massive move. And from, let's say, the start of this move, from this middle channel breakout right here, it's a 68% move in 2 weeks. That's massive. Need to be taking profits if you're still in this. I wouldn't mind leaving some on, let it ride, a little higher, tighten up those stop losses, but definitely start taking profits on that bad boy. Next up is Uber. So we are breaking our down channel here. We're flagging. I think about this yesterday. I think what we talked about yesterday was still a risky entry here. You got to watch the year-to-date anchored VWAP up here as well as $50. So if you do take that entry here, So make sure you keep a tighter stop loss, or make sure you're taking profits into this. It's a small move, but in options world, if you took, let's say the 50 Cs out 1 month, that wouldn't be a bad play. Palantir, I don't know if you caught this on Twitter, but last night or the night before last, there was news that Palantir had won a $823 million contract from the U.S. Army. Everybody was like goo goo gaga over Palantir, buying it on the open. And I'm like, whoa. You have to know the personality of the stock that you trade. This thing is going to gap up tomorrow, meaning today. This is what I was saying 2 days ago. And it's going to fade right back down. And sure enough, faded right back down. I don't have a crystal ball, but I know the personality of Palantir. I know how to trade it. I know that's exactly what it does. So I bought puts today. Puts played pretty well. But listen, it's still holding in our channel here. We're back under the 618 retracement. So as long as we hold this channel, I still feel this is a really good 1-2-1-2 setup. It's not the most beautiful 1-2-1-2 setup, but it is what it is. It looks pretty good. So still watching for a wave 3 move up. CAR, again, another one. Called this perfectly, 1-2. We're in wave 3. We can still extend a little higher on wave 3, but I wouldn't be a buyer up here. I would wait for that wave 4 pullback. Let's wait for that to happen because wave 3s can extend. But until then, I still have an ultimate target of 157 at that 1-618 extension. ROKU played this one beautifully this morning. Caught an entry off of 307.99. Took the 320 calls, got those in the money, rolled up to next week's 330s with profit. Really massive candle here for ROKU. So we didn't get our short entry, but we got our long entry. So let's just delete that. Don't need that anymore. And going to be watching ROKU for a continuation. PAYX, this was not on my radar. Did a live spaces with Wolf Financial and a bunch of other people. Pattern Profits, Juicy, really good stuff. I think we're going to be doing it Thursdays at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So check this out next week. Just keep an eye out for any tweets that I put out when that's going to happen, but that's what it's looking like so far. Somebody mentioned PAYX. If I throw on, excuse me, the earnings data, you see this is a peg play, power earnings gap up. So just ran some levels real quick. We hit that 100% level right here at 118.19 today. I'd watch for maybe a rejection here, a pullback maybe to the 786. You could take a pullback entry here, maybe a retest of the year-to-date, the peg anchored VWAP. But otherwise, I would maybe play this as a breakout, but breakouts have been failing a lot, so it's always risky. Here we go on a firm. I've been tracking this. We had a 1, 2, 3 setup here. Looks like we've got a complex 4 and possibly starting our wave 5 here. So I do like this to 146.85. If you're not in this move already, you've missed the boat. I would not be chasing up here. Wait for a pullback. But you had a lot of time. I could drop an anchored VWAP right here on that gap up. We blasted off on that today. 2 days of rejections. Now we're, I don't know if there was news, but this was just, a massive move. I think it was what 20% today? Yeah, 20.22%. Next up is Bank of America. Again, bank's pretty strong. You could see here we broke out yesterday, retest today. Let's see if banks continue to remain strong. Just to put this out there, earnings start in a couple of weeks. Banks always are first. So this could be the earnings run for banks. And finally, we'll leave off on SOFI. Was really big on SOFI when it launched, and it's been really pretty much a dud ever since the SPAC merged over. So what interests me about this chart is the symmetrical wedge with this fake. I like to call this the fake breakout or the fake out before the breakout, and see it a lot, right? So this looks like possible 1-2 off of an ABC correction. So that's what I'm looking for. What I would say is I'm going to wait for probably $17, maybe even $18 to put an entry in here, and then maybe keep a stop loss at around $15.50, maybe $15 for shares and go long term. Again, harder to play, it's harder to play these types of stocks with options because they're just, they don't act normal. You'd have to get in on a move like that, right? And so it's hard to say when that kind of move is going to happen. Likely this was, a a news event that kicked that off. So maybe keep an eye on news on SoFi. But that's 10 minutes. That's a wrap. Again, this is the pup Danny Naz, not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence on these trades. I'm purely doing this for educational purposes. I hope you are learning how I trade and what I trade. And yeah, good luck. Have a great rest of your evening, and I will catch you in the markets tomorrow.